I want to give you an update on Candace Owens, who is the MAGA podcaster, who has kind of turned against Trump on the Epstein stuff and Trump's reaction to it. That's what I'll start with. But then I'll update you on her legal case where she's being sued because she insists, and she thinks it's really important to continue insisting, despite facts to the contrary, that Emmanuel Macron, the French president's wife, Brigitte Macron, was a man at some point, is her big obsession. But first, this is coming from someone who has been lately speaking out against Trump like this.
Where are my fellow weaklings at? Because that's what Trump called us yesterday, right? He also, during a press conference, said that we were stupid for still caring about the Epstein files. So I think now we're arriving at the important question here, which is, who is Trump protecting? Because he's clearly protecting someone. Is it himself? Is it someone in his family?
And she's done a lot of content to that effect, but I play that for you because one of the other things, she referenced the stupid point. And one of the other things she's been saying is Trump is treating us like we're stupid. Okay. True. Trump does treat you guys like you're stupid quite frequently. But what's interesting is you do that to your audience. However badly Trump thinks of you and your audience, you clearly feel the same about your audience and his supporters because you have had a lot of success and have found it relevant to them to go on this tirade, obsessive tirade, investigating or trying to prove that Brigitte Macron, who's now suing her, is a man. And so let's watch, after she learned of this lawsuit, one of the latest parts of an episode she's done.
We have seen this, just definitely an uptick in donations. People that are like, take our money, want to help you fight this case. You know, I always want to be, if I ever come to you and I say I'm putting up a GoFundMe and I need the money, I want to make sure I really need the money, you know. And right now, for obviously looking and shopping with lawyers, we do not really need the money at this moment. It's very early on, but I know that the process is supposed to be the pain, that they want to drag this out. I can't see them wanting to make it to discovery. I just don't see that happening. I think they'll fake kill Brigitte first. Like they'll be like, oh, Brigitte passed away from stress because of what Candace did. Oh, nobody can talk about her being a man anymore because Brigitte's gone. You know, this is terrible. That's what I'm more likely that would be the conclusion. I feel like that's way more likely than them going through discovery. Right? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but that's my instinct anyway.
She thinks it's more likely that they'll fake Brigitte Macron's death And then what's cracking me up about this clip, aside from that, well, first of all, I do want to call out this dumb sort of like junk food content. I know a lot of people, I've played into content that's a little bit more just for the fun of it. And sometimes we just try to have fun. But in her case, she's leveling defamatory allegations against someone. And the fact that that's what she thinks her audience is going to eat up like junk food is a little bit of an indictment of what she thinks of her audience. And then even more so an indictment of her audience is the audience going, I want to donate you money. And she goes, we don't need the money. Trust me. We already made so much money off of this story. I mean, wait, what? And who is working, is living, is raising their kids, comes across Candace Owens obsessively claiming that Brigitte Macron is a man and goes, $5. Keep fighting for the truth, Candace.
I mean, obviously supporting us, signing up on the website, all of those things, it's how you can support us. And also I want to feel like I'm giving you something back. So that's why I say go to CandaceOwens.com so you can join the book club. If you want to join the book club, it is amazing. We're beginning.
I don't want to say this. Next week's book. No, I'm not saying it. But imagine what next week's book is going to be.
The Assault on Truth next week. But for those of you guys that give, I'm just incredibly blessed and grateful to all of you guys for recognizing the fight. Tim Morgan writes, to help with legal fees, love you, Candace, $20. Thank you, Tim. Supreme Steve writes,
putting your $20 into the toilet and flushing it would be a better usage of that money. I don't know who. She said who? Morgan something? Who is doing that?
Why are you the way that you are?
Truly, you can take that one down. Then in follow-up to this news, she also had this to say.
It is very clear that Brigitte Macron existed.
Oh, by the way, if you appreciate this show, me trying to give you a little bit more of a nutritious commentary diet, click the subscribe button. And if you want to get the bonus show, if you want to support me financially, then you can do it by clicking the join button. All right, this is funny to me because I literally can't even follow what she's saying. I can't even follow what she's saying. Let's see if we can find out together.
It is very clear that Brigitte Macron existed. It is very clear that she was, in fact, the sister of Jean-Michel Macron. And I think that if I am guessing what took place here, Jean-Michel Macron took Brigitte Macron's identity at some point. It's very obvious he kind of becomes his sister. That's what seems to be the most logical conclusion based off of everything. So the question that people ask is, okay, if you're operating under that theory, what happened to the real Brigitte Macron? And so if we are to believe that, I do believe that Brigitte Macron, the real Brigitte Macron existed, it's plausible that Brigitte Macron got sick, that the real Brigitte Macron got sick and perhaps had a dying wish to help her brother, Jean-Michel Macron, who was living perhaps as Veronique, right? And knowing that, okay, well, he's never going to be allowed to live his life authentically. He's always going to be always going to be hiding and doing these sorts of things because this is just not a time where people are recognizing this transgendered identity.
Wait, so the argument is that Brigitte took her brother's identity? Her sister's identity? This is wild. All so that she could be... What? What is it? What am I supposed to think about this? Candace, what? By the way, her content's so wild. It's like either this or she's doing like really... Well, I don't know. I would need to, before I make that allegation, I need to do more fact checking to make sure I'm remembering it was her. But she does some wild stuff on trying to rewrite historical events as an example. And then she's either doing that or like investigation part 12 on Brigitte Macron's alleged penis. Just how do you watch this and go, oh yeah, tell me about your new thoughts about the Holocaust, which is one of the things she's done. Okay.
Well, what if she gifted her brother her identity? Here, this is not a thing yet. You can just become me. Okay, that's, again, we're surmising. There's no evidence that Brigitte Macron died. There's no evidence of that. But that's what it feels like. There's no evidence
of this. There's no evidence of that. It's just fun to think about the first lady being a man of France. Okay. And I'll remind you that even conservative Steven Crowder was not convinced.
Were you then made aware that this was perhaps incorrect? And did you exacerbate it and make it worse? That's what this is going to be about. Candace responded by, you could say, doubling down.
You were born a man and you will die a man. That's the point I'm making. Oof. So give us a sample. I'll send my doctors to take your blood. Figure it out real quick, however you want to go about this. Hey, how about just giving us some pictures again of you growing up, raising your children? That would be fine.
Yeah, so here's the problem, and if you read the entire filing, and I read 100-something pages of it last night, they actually already did directly send proof to Candace, said pictures, childhood pictures of Brigitte. They did.
But that was her sister.
Send evidence of Brigitte's biological motherhood of 3 children. They did send pictures of her first, of her wedding when she was young. And there already is sworn testimony, for example, from the children and from the, I don't know if sworn testimony, but the previous husband. So she's now moving goalposts and saying, take a blood test. They did also, by the way, send the birth announcement, not a certificate, but an announcement. So newspaper clippings, pictures, sworn testimony, evidence, and this has all been provided to her for a long time. Now, remember,
this, I think, shows us because I know what you're asking. What's the point? Well, it's interesting. But number one point I would say in terms of takeaways, kind of what this says about our current media landscape. Let me tell you what podcaster Candace Owens' obsession with Brigitte Macron's fake penis tells you about media in America. Is that number one, there's such a lack of incentives to ever admit you're wrong, right? It's always better currently, now that we're in this team sport mindset, to double down, and Trump does this all the time, instead of admit you're wrong. So I don't think there's any amount of evidence that Candace Owens could be presented that would make her stop, because she's dug in so much. And we should open ourselves up to allowing for the incentive structure in our media landscape to be that if you admit you're wrong because you're presented with more facts, it's actually good for you to admit that. And number two is that people are increasingly in this world where everything has to be so entertaining, are increasingly seeking out outlets to get their quote unquote information that choose salaciousness and intrigue at all costs over informing people. So like, we, to adjust for that landscape, number one, because I have more fun and I hope it's more fun for all of you, try to make the news more fun and silly and induce some laughter here and there. But what I tried to never do is distort what's happening, distort reality for the sake of it being more salacious, right? If there's a story, and this has happened before, some of the Epstein things I've had to do this with, where what some people are rushing to say about a story is way more salacious and interesting. And so a lot of them just say that because it's more entertaining. But if you care enough about the audience being informed, then you have to hold yourself to, you can try to make things more fun and add more visual elements and do different things to fit in this moment where people are TikToking their mind and need everything to be super entertaining. Yes, but don't sacrifice the facts for that. And I think that's what this Candace Owens story tells us. That was pretty good. I think that was a pretty good way to go full circle. See? And that's why we had to talk about this today. Okay? If you want to donate to the cause, you can to keep fighting the lies of Brigitte Macron. Who in her audience even knew who that was before this? So strange. Oh, so very strange.